Good afternoon, guys. Ronan here from Old Irish Gaming. Happy Sunday. I know it's not too usual. I do a bit of a video on a Sunday, but I thought we'd have a quick look at a few mega cities. There's a lot of talk about it. I see so much of it in the comments about mega cities, and indeed, I spend a good bit of time myself talking about it. So yeah, let's have a quick look at a few mega cities. Something you can have a look at on a Sunday evening and take it easy and have a little bit of leisure time. So the first one was brought to my attention. I didn't know about this one. Our chief analyst brought this one to my attention. This is in Antarctic, and it's I don't know what it's called, but somebody has been thinking about it and setting up road structures and that. Yeah, kind of a P13 is there. Okay, there's a bit more. Yeah, it kind of grows out here a little bit. And yeah, we seem to have a great selection of nationalities as well. It seems to be a very all-inclusive kind of development. I haven't invested anything here myself. I didn't know about it until today. But yeah, there you are. So let's scan out and you can see where it is. Of course, there's going to be a lot of white. It's in the Antarctic. So that's it there. So we are kind of at the tip of the Antarctic. Up to the top of the map we have, I believe that's the Falkland Islands and the tip of South America. And this is back down then onto the city there in Antarctic. If I can find coordinates for it, I'll throw it in the comments. Okay, so where else are we going to look at? Let me just get my little list up here. Okay, so let's have a look at one I have mentioned before, which is in Burma, or Yangon. The city of Yangon in Burma, which is now called Meramar. I like this. It's a pretty good value. There's a bit of interest. At the minute, we're seeing just so many mega cities coming. Really, they're everywhere, and they're just busting in. And I suppose people who have kind of the purchasing power or the YouTube influencers, as we've seen with East Timor, they're setting up these cities, I suppose, in the hope then, buy the tiles cheap, get people involved, drive up the price. Bit of a short-term strategy, I suppose, to get to make profit. In the long run, how will they go? That's the interesting thing, and that is certainly what I would wonder about. So that's Yangon in Burma, Myanmar. Bit of interest there, certainly. I bought a few tiles there a few days ago. I suppose really I kind of have the long-term view of this, and I'm hoping the mega cities that I'm involved in, really that we will start to produce, kind of in-game services, that we will produce businesses that will give a current return on investment, will give an ongoing return on investment when we start producing things and advertising things and setting up games within the game and actually getting into the bones of the VR world and everything else, rather than just the speculative tile price. But of course, hard to say at this stage. I can't see the future no more than anybody else, so we can only hope for the best. I'm gone off topic, forgive me. So that's Yangon in Burma. The next one we'll have a quick look at is Freetown in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone. Oh wait, that's India on. Try again. Sierra Leone. Now, needless to say, the African tile prices are relatively low, say region by region, and we see a lot of mega cities coming and going here. Not coming and going, but starting up, and they kind of explode for a little while, and they kind of slow down a little bit. This one here is an interesting enough one. I must admit I don't have any tiles here. I think I will keep investing in the mega cities, and I would like to have a few tiles in every mega city, in the hopes that when Earth 2 is fully established, that the mega city I have tiles in will be kind of the the expensive, or the place to be, or the place where there is most ongoing return. Yeah, Freetown. Where do we fill in this piece? Yeah. So yeah, there's a little bit of structure there, and you can see there's a couple of individuals have set up some kind of road structure and blocks. And interesting. It's not the biggest one, but it's an interesting one. It's one you could look at. And that is Freetown in Sierra Leone. Another one I've mentioned before is Djibouti City in Djibouti. That's over the other side of Africa here, just off the Horn of Africa, Djibouti City. I like this one. I have some tiles in this, and I will probably buy a few more. I think it's an interesting one. No particular reason. You could say to yourself, well, Ron, how do you go one is better than the other? You can't. It's really hard to kind of quantify it, if you know what I mean, at this stage. We'll have to wait and see what the development is like in the long run. This one has certainly a bit of interest. There's a good few tiles bought around the area. And the price is right, like the entry price is right. You know, we have to, I suppose, I was trying to get into the mindset of new people coming into Earth 2, and you're kind of saying, well, you know, what will they look for? What will they buy when they come in? You know, will they buy USA tiles for $46, $47 each? No, I wouldn't think so. You know, they're going to look for the low-cost tiles, places to get in, and, you know, instead of buying 10 tiles, buy 100 tiles. So, you know, I really think there is value in the lower-cost tiles. There will be more return on the lower cost tiles rather than the higher cost tiles in the long run. Again, that's my opinion. As I've been constantly told, Ronan, for God's sake, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not a financial advice. I'm not licensed to give financial advice. This is just my opinion. But certainly, I think in a lot of these mega cities in Africa, you know, you probably it's probably a good strategy to buy a few tiles in every mega city when they're cheap, in the hopes that it'll become the big one. Yeah, so that's it. That's Djibouti. Let's move on. Somebody asked me about Bhutan. I had a look at Bhutan, but I couldn't find a megacity, and I had no coordinates for it. If you know something about it, would you throw it in the comments? And I'll certainly have a look at it again. The same is true for South Korea. I was asked to have a look at a megacity in South Korea. Couldn't find it. What I can tell you is the tiles in South Korea are quite expensive. And South Korea is, generally speaking, being bought up by South Koreans, if you know what I mean. You know, they're buying up their own tiles. You can see a lot of their own flags. Here is Seoul, South Korea. And yeah, the tiles here are quite expensive. I think about $10 at the minute. But of course, Seoul is a very, you know, IT literate, progressive society. They're into computers, and you can see them really embracing this kind of new technology. So you can see why they would be interested in it. $10.02. So is Seoul a good one? Possibly. It's a little bit expensive, I would think, but again, that's how do we measure value in the game? What's the difference between a $10 tile and a 40-cent tile? That's the big thing. This is the thing I'm constantly thinking about and trying to figure out. Okay, that is Seoul in South Korea. Again, I don't know where the megacity is. If you know, let me know, and we'll have a look at it in the next video or sometime along. One I have spoke about, and one I quite like, is if we swing over here to North Macedonia, to Skopje. Oh, Moldova, give me a minute now. There we go. Jetting around the world here. Skopje has two megacities that are going to kind of link up in the long run. You know, good tile value. I think we're running 60 cents, 60 odd cents, maybe 66 cents at the minute. A lot of interest. Like there is just, you know, big blocks of this bought up. Good bit of interest here. I like it myself. I have some tiles here. I will probably add to it as we go along. Yeah, not a bad one, you know. We see kind of some structure there, but it's the amount of interest. It's the kind of the density of the amount of tiles that's bought that kind of makes me think, yeah, this could be good. People are interested here. Yeah, so that is Skopje, North Macedonia. Yeah, it's quite. I tell you, it is. I had a look at this earlier on, and it is quite big. Yeah, pretty good. As I say, yeah, one I'm interested in. I like it. I'll buy a little bit more of a couple of hundred tiles there. I would like to get a few more. Next, well, we couldn't have the video without mentioning East Timor. Yeah, this is the big one in the room at the minute. This is the mega city in everybody's mind. Ronan, try again. There we go. East Timor. Of course, East Timor, we're north of Australia. Dili is the capital. Come pretty much due south, and you will see. What is the name of the town? Banato. And of course, our guy from YouTube, the big influencer, is building his mega city here. All the Malaysian flags are his. Pengjun. Forgive me for butchering your name. This is he's got quite a block here, and from what I know, he intends to put about $10,000 a week into it. So he's put in about 20,000 so far. I've got a few tiles in here as well. And this guy is kind of saying all the right things. He thinks Earth 2 is, the next big thing, and he wants to develop a huge big city. He's thinking of the long term. Yeah, I find all that kind of, yeah, I'm kind of the same. I like the idea of that. So I'm hoping this will be good on all fronts. I've mentioned this a few times. I think it's a good idea, if you're looking for a place to buy a few tiles. I think you could do worse than having a look here. I think it is certainly worth a little consideration at the moment. Anywhere around. And of course, a rise tide brings all boats up. Needless to say, all the tiles in East Timor in the long run will become more expensive because of, mega cities like that. And there is quite a bit of interest. Well, there is some interest there in Dili itself. How will that develop? I don't know. I just think the mega city area, if you're going to invest in that area, is probably the place to be. That's the map coverage there for Dili. Where else are we going to have a little look? Oh yes, Grenada. Grenada. There is. You'll have to forgive my geography today. I had a bit of a late night, so my geography is not great today. I have to think twice about these things. So we're on the Caribbean islands here. This is the island of Grenada. And there is quite a substantial megacity here going up, or structure going up, or you see the shapes and the roads and everything else. Somebody asked me in the comments, Ronnie, do you think in the development of megacities should I buy roads? And I said, no, I don't think you should. Or you shouldn't spend your money trying to set up roads. And the reason behind that is, in one of the developers' interviews, they kind of made mention to the fact that it's better to buy big rectangle shape sites or blocks for development purposes. It's going to be much easier to develop it, So I kind of, if I'm buying along the coast, I'll kind of buy, kind of triangles and oblongs and that. If I'm buying in city areas, I'll just buy big square rectangle blocks. Now, I could be wrong. That was my interpretation of what was said. Of course, at the end of the day, you buy whatever shape you think is going to be most beneficial for you. Yeah, that's central Grenada. Yeah, it's not, huge on the size of, North Macedonia or some of the other places. There is a bit of a structure there. Again, I like islands. I like the theory of islands. I hope when the development starts, if we have islands and all the squares are gone on them, well, then we will start to get premier price on the island blocks, Interesting one. Certainly one worth considering. I have a bit of property there. I have a bit of property on a lot of the islands here. I really like the Caribbean islands because you kind of think it's the kind of place you want to live and be comfortable in. That's all I have on the list, but I want to have a quick look at two more. I'm kind of off topic here. Don't let me ramble on too long. I was looking at Togo earlier. There's a mega city down, I think it's here, the bend on this river. Well, we have a quick look here. Yeah, there it is. This is quite substantial in Togo. And again, I think the tile price is very reasonable. What do we have a look at tile price? 54 cents. Price is right, you know. I think there's a little bit of value there. And this is developing kind of, you know, east and west and north. This is kind of the southern tip of Togo. Will it do well? Hard to say. You know, will any of these do well? Hard to say. Oh yeah, Rivermouth. Yeah, I knew there was a name on it. Rivermouth. Yeah, there it is there. But look, you know, again, it's worth having a look at, worth considering if you think R2 is going to be the next big thing. And there's one last one then. What do we see? That was Togo we looked at. So there's one here in Benin then, I think, as well, down at this area. There's a few of them kind of just around here on the south tips of these countries. Let me see now, am I in the right place for this? I may or may not be. I'm kind of off script at the moment here, just yakking. Oh yeah, so there we are there, yeah. I knew I seen one here around this area. Yeah, and there's certainly a bit of interest here. There's, you know, kind of a structure, a bit of a road structure. I suppose when we think about it, just to come back on the question of, you know, should I buy roads or that, to a certain extent when you look at these, if you see roads, you kind of define structure and you kind of say, oh yeah, this might do well because somebody's kind of planning it out. So maybe in that way there is value in buying roads. But whether or not, you know, intrinsically, you know, when we start building and all that, maybe it's better not to, you know, have long single shapes, if you know what I mean. Wow, yeah, this is a pretty big. This is bigger than I thought. Let me see now. I'm pleasantly surprised by this one. There's quite a bit of interest here. What is the tile price here? The tile price is 86 cents. I'll just make sure I'm correct on that. Yeah, 87 cents, 86 cents. Little bit more expensive, so. But, yeah, that might be, that is Cotonou and Porto Novo. Yeah, maybe that's worth a look. And that is west of Lagos. I'm not sure which way Lagos is developed. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's a bit of interest in Lagos there as well. As I'm sure you know, Lagos is one of the most populous cities in Nigeria, in Africa. So you could see there might be a bit of interest. Somebody else also asked me the question during the week, do you think where the big population base is here on Earth 1, will it be the same on Earth 2? Hard to say. Again, can't see the future. I'm kind of guessing at it. I was thinking about it, and I spent a few hours the other day. I was thinking about a few concepts and trying to make sense of them. I suppose it won't be. I suppose there'll be changes. Because if you look at the flag structure, say in Africa, for example, you know, you won't see African nations buying up huge plots of African land, but you will see, of course, European flags, American flags, Canadian flags. There seems to be a lot of Canadians interested in the game, and you see them buying, you know, quite substantial blocks. So, you know, maybe the population bases, you know, won't be where they are at the moment. You know, the mega cities in Earth 1, I don't think will correspond to the mega cities in Earth 2, if that makes sense. But again, that's just a hunch. Yeah, and that's Lagos there. Just a little quick look, you know. So, yeah, there's a few places to think about, guys. You know, like yourself, trying to figure it out myself, trying to come up with a few good ideas. Certainly in Africa, I think there are a few places I'm going to hit. I'm going to continue, I suppose my strategy for the next few weeks, I'm going to continue just to buy tiles. I'm going to do certainly the mega cities. You know, I'd like to have a few tiles in every mega city. Also, after watching Earth2 Meta's video on tile pricing, I'm also going to buy tiles in large countries, cheap tiles in large countries. because we'll see the book value, once there's interest there, going constantly going up. And it's kind of a counter strategy to what I was doing about the little small islands. Instead of getting premier prices, in the long run we'll get higher book prices. But again, it's all theoretical at the moment. We have to wait and see how these things, if they'll prove themselves to be true in the long run. So that's our mega cities for today. That's our little chat for Sunday. I'm going to go and do something else and relax for a few hours. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We're back to our normal programming tomorrow, if you want to call it that. European prices tomorrow. I look forward to it. I think we're going to see some very good week-on-week increases. There's been plenty of money coming into the game. I think we're lucky we're here very early. Hopefully things will keep improving. We're making about 5 to 10% a week, generally speaking. I was laughing. Somebody during the week said to me, it's only 5% a week. Could we not do better? And I'm kind of going, wow, 5% a week is fantastic. If you work as a fund manager and run a pension plan or anything, they want you to achieve 5% a year. That would generally be the target for a standard fund. We're making, if we're invested in R2, 5% a week. Amazing. So I think we should be pretty happy with 5% a week. Long may it last. May we all see hundreds and hundreds of weeks of going up 5%. I'd be very happy for one. Listen, guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Put the feet up, relax. We're back to a new week tomorrow. We get to do it all again. And I will see you tomorrow evening, 6:30, for European pricing. Until then, take care. See you then. Bye-bye.